Get out! Oh no! Give me a mirror, I want to see it! No! You don't.
Technically, I could go into labour in about 6 weeks. I'm due early October, and I always believed that there was only one way that birth could go. But I've been educating myself an awful lot. I've been watching a lot of positive birth experiences online that have been really making me question a lot of what I grew up believing. The concept of this video came to me the other day when I watched a 2008 documentary called The Business of Being Born.
Maternity care in the United States is in crisis.
People don't have the information.
How often do you get to see a fully natural birth? Rarely. Almost never.
Everywhere else in the world, you see midwives. Cesarean is extremely doctor-friendly. It's 20 minutes, and I'll be home for dinner.
Basically, what the medical profession has done is convince the vast majority of women that they don't know how to birth.
It is so good and so important. It explored the contemporary experience of childbirth in the United States, and it was so eye-opening. Like, it also proved an awful lot of the things that were covered in the Positive Birth Company's hypnobirthing course that I just finished with my partner. It's amazing. Got a bit frustrated watching it, to be honest, because it goes into how often low-risk women are taught to view their birth as a medical emergency instead of a natural occurrence, something that their body is designed to do, and how that fear of birth that is planted in a lot of our heads when we're very young can actually set off a chain reaction of events from the beginning of labour, even before then, that results in the manifestation of pain. And I never knew this, but your body can't release oxytocin, which is the birth hormone, if it's releasing adrenaline, which is what we release when we're afraid, when we're anxious. And adrenaline can actually bring a ton of pain in labour, and then that can lead to obviously drugs and interventions and sometimes lasting physical and mental damage.
So you want oxytocin. The more oxytocin you have in your body, your blood will be sent to your uterus, carrying all that lovely oxygen, and the muscles will be able to move nice and smoothly as they're designed to. Your labour will be more comfortable and quicker. So we want to make sure that we're not producing adrenaline, that we don't feel frightened, and that we actually feel really relaxed, that we can have lots of oxytocin in our body.
Yeah, like, it got me thinking about how much rewiring I've had to do over the past few months of my brain when it comes to birth, you know, because this is coming out one way or the other, this child. A lot of that initial programming definitely came from films and TV, two things that I absolutely adore. We all know mass media is a primary agent of socialization in our lives. It does have a big impact on our thoughts and our worldviews even. A lot of us just really do learn from things we see on TV and in films, and many studies have shown that a positive birth experience can have a huge impact on the psychological and emotional well-being of mothers, and not only feeling prepared for birth, like being really informed about birth and what's happening to your body during it. That can help women go into motherhood feeling more confident and strong and capable. And if the only portrayals of birth you've seen, and that the ones that you've grown up with, are of women screaming at the top of their lungs while lying on their backs with people surrounding them screaming push in their faces, I can guess that it'd be harder to have a positive experience because you're going into it carrying an awful lot of dread. So we're going to unpack a lot in this video. I thought it would be fun to sit down and react to depictions of birth from like popular films and shows that show women having birth. I was able to find all of the shows and films that I'm going to explore and talk through in this video, thanks to today's sponsor, which is Surfshark VPN. They're a feature-packed virtual private network that are offering you 85% off and 3 months extra free as well if you use the code Melanie, and the link is down below in the description box. Surfshark help you to do lots of really helpful data protection stuff, but the reason they're sponsoring this video is because they allow you to change your online location so you can unlock content from around the world. world, to watch stuff on Netflix and other streaming services that might not be available in your country. So with the VPN installed, you can essentially change your region, unlocking access to thousands of shows and movies that you didn't have access to before. I also love with this service that you only need one subscription for all of your gadgets in your home, so it can cover all of your family's devices, keeping you all safe online and giving you all access to amazing content. But watch a lot of these birth depictions with a pinch of salt, please. A lot of people wanted me to comment on the Twilight birth scene. I mean, can we just, you know, how did Edward manage to get Bella pregnant when he is a vampire? And, you know, you need blood coursing through your veins to stiffen the staff. I just don't get it. I was still a little Twilight baby, though. I loved Twilight when I was younger.
Carlo said the placenta must have detached.
This scene was traumatizing, you know, and obviously complete fantasy. Nevertheless, it's something that I think seeped into a lot of young girls' minds, and even though it's about a girl giving birth to a very fast-growing vampire human baby, I think it's just the thought of really serious complications and lots of crying and screaming and fear and detaching placentas and needles, and it's just horrible. And then she's lying there, you know, just dying. This is from the backup plan, and firstly, I can't imagine having so many people surrounding me while giving birth. In the hypnobirthing course I did with my husband, she does talk about birth being kind of like doing a poo, and the feeling of, imagine just squatting down and doing a poo in front of loads of people, or actually no, imagine doing a poo lying on your back with strange men looking at your bum while it's coming out. Certainly wouldn't be an easy, swift, simple evacuation. There is so much to be said for being in an environment that is very comfortable and safe. Safe being like the operative word. I feel like if there's a lot of people and there's like bright lights, you just don't feel safe and cozy. It makes sense that your body would be like, nah. So I've watched so many water births on YouTube, even from non-YouTubers. Like, a lot of people just upload their births for educational purposes because it's very insightful for people to be able to watch others giving birth, and they're definitely never like this. And yeah, of course there's fainting. Of course there's fucking fainting. I do have a big soft spot for this film. I saw it when I was a teenager, but this is just so awful. It's so awful.
1 second. What did he look like?
I shouldn't have gone in there.
Yeah.
Don't go in there. Promise me you don't go in there.
That's the last fucking place I want to go. Like, I'm gonna go in there. Try getting a boner now.
Paul Rudd is so hot.
What's up, Deb?
Such a big crush. Again, stuff like this makes it seem like, firstly, that men are incapable of comprehending birth or being able to help a woman who is going through labour. Like, I noticed while doing my research for this video that a lot of men in these scenes are either, you know, they're fainting or they're shown to be really grossed out.
My ex-husband said it was like watching his favourite pub burn down, so good choice.
We'll see more of that, but it's just this, you know, it kind of almost encourages this attitude in guys of just putting their head in the sand and being like, oh, it's not happening. They can greatly help, and the birth partner is actually extremely important and can have a huge impact on the outcome if they take over everything and just let the woman focus on her breath and focus on existing and getting through the thing. If they take control of absolutely everything else and protecting the space and consulting with whatever professional is there, especially if they understand it and learn about it in advance, they're not going to be like this. Another thing is, you always watch these and you don't realise that, like, after the birth there's other stuff that has to happen, like the placenta has to be birthed as well, and it's definitely not a case of everyone just swarms into the room and the woman is just fine and there's nothing going on. Like, sometimes there is stitches happening down there, you know, with second degree tears and whatnot. They can be often unrealistic in both directions, you know, like making it look horrifically terrifying, and also then it's like all wrapped up in like 2 minutes. Like, the best example of that is Phoebe having her triplets in Friends. In a few minutes they're all out and it's all over, and like, this would have been my first exposure, I think, to birth, and that's something as well that was brought up in the hypnobirthing course a couple of times, is that women's bodies, if everything is kind of going smoothly, women's bodies will naturally push the baby out. Like the uterus muscles push the baby out. But she talks about this kind of like scrunched up and people being like, okay, push, push, push. Like that isn't what would happen at all in a natural birth environment. Obviously, if someone has, say, an epidural, they need a bit of guidance with that kind of thing. But what I mean is, you know, like my cat, when my cat was giving birth to her kittens, she just found a dark place in my bedroom, so in the wardrobe, and she just went in and she did it. And women in tons of different countries just do it. Like their bodies just know what to do, and there's not so much of the tension and the scrunching up of the face and the veins popping in the head.
What was his thing?
One thing I did really like about this is that she's sitting upwards. You know, it at least kind of taught me that you don't have to be lying down on your back. There's actually a lot of different positions women give birth in, and having gravity on your side and not being on your back is meant to be very, very beneficial. So being, say, on all fours or just upright in some way is meant to help with the baby actually coming through the birth canal. In the documentary I mentioned at the start of this video, they do talk about how it's easier for doctors for women to be kind of lying on their back, and it's just easier for them to see kind of what's going on, rather than, say, if she was like on all fours on the ground, it's more effort and more work for them.
Bridget, how do you want to do this? Epidural?
No, you can do this. Positive mental attitude is stronger than any drug. Okay, just think away the pain.
Well, bollocks to that. No, I want everything. Gas, air, injections, morphine.
It also blows my mind that so many people kind of don't understand the difference between, say, a doctor or a consultant and a midwife. Like, they're both experts in their fields, but midwives are birth experts, and consultants, doctors, like, their expertise is in handling a situation that has gone wrong, in problem solving, in, you know, efficiently getting to the bottom of something that is not working out well. That's what they do. If you're low risk and you've had a normal pregnancy and there's no cause for concern, a midwife is your woman, is your person, is the one you want on the job. Like, they know exactly how to get that baby out and how to sort out and address numerous different situations. Like, they know as well when a consultant or a doctor needs to be involved. It is always usually a doctor or a consultant or whatever involved when it's on TV. You really rarely ever see midwives involved. Always lots of talk of drugs, and there's little to no education. So apparently in the transition phase, that's when most women will actually reach a point of like, I cannot do this. I am not able to do this. Like, no way in hell am I gonna survive. I am going to die. Please inject me with anything. And apparently that's a really, really, really normal thing, because at that phase, if you have been progressing through labour with lots of, you know, natural oxytocin, a bit of adrenaline is released and you start panicking. And I think, again, studying it, learning about it, prepares you to know to expect that. And you can talk with your birth partner about, like, you know, if I start turning around saying I suddenly want an epidural when I'd been really against the idea of having one, they can maybe kind of coach you through it. But the way they show guys coaching women through it in movies is just like,
think away the pain.
Oh, motherfucker.
Slapstick comedy, you know, it's always like, just the joke is just, oh, shut up, you know, what do you know? So it's interesting that when you look at the situation in the United States when it comes to births, and you marry that with how birth is depicted in American films and American TV, which, like, most of what we consume here in Ireland or in England or whatever, it is American, you know. It's very interesting indeed. Yeah, Look Who's Talking, it's the same kind of thing. And I would have seen this when I was a very small child. I definitely said to my dad, I made him a pinky promise when I was about 7, 8, that I would never have a child, because of things like Look Who's Talking.
Fuck my breathing.
Give me the drugs. No, you don't want drugs.
Yes, I do. I'm just letting too.
She's almost fully dilated, and by the time they take effect, she could be
I'd
delivering.
say everyone probably feels like that at the time.
There we go.
Oh, thank you a really lot.
Oh God, like, you know, even that, like,
That is a
we
little
really
more
are
like
brought
it.
up to view drugs as like the solution to everything, aren't we?
Hey, here's Mr. Hand here. Wow. Oh, now that is very cosmic. I don't understand. Whoa.
Like, obviously, the side effects of some drug are never going to be part of a storyline or a plot of anything, but it's just really interesting that drugs are featured in so many films and TV shows, and the side effects are never, ever, ever discussed. Not even the side effects, like just the risks. Like, say with a planned cesarean, if you have a planned cesarean where you don't have any natural labour, so you have it planned before you even go into labour, your body never releases any of the oxytocin that it would usually produce. Some women might organise that and not realise that then their body won't really know that they have given birth, so then it can be very hard for their breasts to produce milk, and then that leads to feeding issues. And then if they'd really wanted to breastfeed, then they can't, maybe because there's no milk. I don't know, something goes wrong in the cesarean, and then the baby is taken away, and then they don't get to have the skin on skin, which they might have really wanted, because there's lots of benefits to having the skin on skin after birth. And I get that everyone has to be open to all kinds of outcomes. At the end of the day, you just want a healthy baby out at the end. And if for whatever reason I needed to have something that's not on my birth plan, I'd be so in the zone of just like, save my baby, make sure my baby's okay, that I would just do whatever. But I think it's just the attitude toward women and this kind of rushing them in and out, like not giving their bodies the time to do their thing, you know, and a lot of inductions are given when they really don't need to be given at all. I'm part of the Positive Birth Company's Facebook group, and I've seen people in that group say that they kept saying no to inductions like over and over again, and then their body did go into spontaneous labour and they had an amazing birth and they had no tearing and everything was fine. So it is it's just important that we really make sure to take the time to teach ourselves this stuff and learn, because it's not going to be taught to us in school, evidently, ever. Most schools still only talk about sex like it's a thing that happens between men and women. I hardly see them getting into the intricacies of birth anytime soon. I loved Juno so much when I was younger. I actually forgot about this one.
God, Bert, when do I get that freaking spinal tap thing?
It's called a spinal block, and you can't have it yet, honey. The doctor said you're not dilated enough.
Oh, come on. I mean, it's like...
Yeah, like if I was her age giving birth, I would have been the same. I would have just assumed there was no other way to do it.
Oh, shit. Excuse me, hey, can we give my kid the damn spinal tap already?
Still hasn't been any one of these births where they've had nice dim lighting, maybe just one or two people present, bit of music on in the background, you know, some fake candles, some aromatherapy, you know, there's been none of that. I really did love What to Expect When You're Expecting, and I think that is a great film to watch if you are pregnant or and if you've not given birth before, because like a lot of people who I know who have given birth have told me that this film does a good job of showing the variety of things that can happen. Like there's the woman in it who just sneezes her baby out and it's just like the easiest thing ever. I just sneezed. And she's just so relaxed and happy and perfect through her pregnancy and everything goes fine. And then Cameron Diaz giving birth is kind of how I anticipate mine to go. I love how powerful and strong she seems through it, but she's obviously still really struggling because you're getting a head out of your vagina, let's be real. But then also it shows an unplanned C-section and how kind of disappointing that can be for some people and how scary it can be as well. And yeah, tell me if that's happened for you. Then last we have The Handmaid's Tale, which is a really, really amazing show. I definitely think it'd be lovely to have a lot of women with these calming voices saying soothing things to me in a soothing voices and all that support and all. But if you know what The Handmaid's Tale is about and you understand why this woman is stepping in behind her to pretend that she's giving birth, definitely not favourable. I was watching some of that at the start of my pregnancy and I remember it definitely was making me kind of realise how lucky I am to be pregnant, to especially to have gotten pregnant naturally. Obviously it's a very dystopian, you know, it's all made up and all that kind of thing, but still it definitely brought my focus to the real, very real issue of infertility, and yeah, it just made me feel very grateful for my baby in my belly. But yeah, I think even just from those few clips we can gather that birth definitely isn't represented very well. There's not a diverse range of experiences represented at all of birth in popular films and like popular TV shows and stuff, you know, the kinds of ones that like everybody has seen and talks about. And I hope to see that change, but for some reason I just don't think it will, because there's so much money to be made of women's fear of their own bodies. I'd love to know what you think about this subject. I would love to know your thoughts on these clips, and I want to thank again Surfshark VPN for sponsoring this video. Again, there's an amazing discount, all linked down in the description box. They're just an incredible service, and this is the second time I've worked with them. I love working with them because I use their service and it's amazing. And yeah, if you have any similar videos to this that you want to request, definitely leave them down below, and thumbs up if you enjoyed, if you learned anything, and I'll be back with another video very, very soon. Bye guys.